Just kidding. So, and I'm
So
curious.
my friend,
Yeah.
let's officially start. We have to start, we have interims or plank down dogs. And I wrote those in case we have some wrist limitations for walking on hands. So we have 5 interims or 8 plank to down dogs. So either are great here. That's an either, not an and. 10 per side kneeling or standing halos, which we did a couple weeks ago as well, but I'll go over those again. And then I have 5 per side squat rotations. I say squat rotations, I just want a little like rotation while the knees are bent in some way, shape, or form. So if you're not squatting all the way down, that's fine. No big deal. I'll demonstrate kind of both variations. Um, Followed by 4 sets of 5 per leg trim squats or some variation of a single leg variation if we can do that. So lunges here are legit if you want to do lunges. And then for the accessory piece, we have some Copenhagen planks, which I will do my best to demonstrate. Um, B stance Romanian deadlifts. We have bent over rows, but here I wrote 2 dumbbells or 2 weights optional because last time we had bent over rows with a single arm. This one, if you feel inclined, we could do two weights at the same time. Okay. If you don't have the option for 2 weights, obviously. One side at a time is fine. So to continue, let's go ahead and start with some cat cows or whatever it is you do to warm up. So if you like to do something different, that's fine. If you can't stay in camera angle, that's also fine. Don't worry about moving your device up and down. Oh, my thoughts exactly. That's new. Um, After 10 cat cows, bird dogs, or again, whatever kind of sequence you like to start with. So these aren't arbitrary for me, but certainly not um, your only option, right? If you want something different or more. Once you've done bird dogs, let's do the we'll call these 90-90s. I'm sure there's a better name for them, but opening one hip, closing the bottom hip. And we'll add one more thing to the kind of pre-warm-up sequence, just so that hopefully, fingers crossed, hips and ankles are okay and ready to do some stuff today. So what we're gonna add is some variation of a lunge shape. I'm gonna do this from a plank, but you can step into this. Um, so this foot forward, I got my back knee down, okay? When I'm doing that, that hip, or switch sides, okay, can either be, right? We can extend that leg or drop the back knee. I can't see what my body's doing. And my butt squeezed. So I'm here, not here. Yeah, so my hip is towards the floor. I squeeze my butt. My other foot, okay, my front foot is planted, right? So I'm not in the heel, right? And if I can't do that, I want the bias this heel down and as much of a butt squeeze on my back leg as possible, okay? If you're able to, I'll show you from the front now. If you're able to, we're gonna try and get our hands on the floor, which you've already kind of demonstrated that you can do, right? So tabletop, sort of, here, right? And then from here, right, either a little bit, I'm gonna rotate and reach for my ceiling, right? So right foot forward, right hand up, and then maybe, perhaps, hand back down and elbow towards the floor. I say towards. You can't get that elbow to the ground without that heel lifting. But with the heel lifting, without the heel lifting, then go ahead and shorten that range of motion. Staying in this shape, knee down or up. We're gonna do this 3 times, probably very yoga adjacent. Not an original idea. Yeah, toes and heels down. The knee can shift forward as long as the heel stays on the ground. So you're opening up the opposite hip. The back knee can be on or off of the ground. I prefer on the ground for now, just because. And then let's go ahead and switch legs. So you're going to start with that lunge shape first, the butt squeezed. Foot down on the opposite side. As you open, squeeze. Good. I'm aware getting the elbow towards the floor is a big ask for a lot of us, so I want to respect whatever is happening or not happening, as the case may be. All right, good. So let's go ahead. Let's have a quick review of our movements in the warm-up. Of course, we have our inchworms. That's where you're walking out from a standing position. You kind of bend your knees bent, walking out if the wrists can tolerate this. Right? Push-ups can be from the knees or, of course, from full position. That's fine. Here, and then back up again. Right? That's 1. Repeat a total of 5 times. We have some wrist stuff. We don't love the walking, but we can go dumbbells or hands flat. It can be plank, down dog. That's fine. That's gonna be your first variation. The kneeling halos, unlike last time, I think we did half kneeling, right? Like this. It's this guy. You're gonna take your weight. Okay. I have a kettlebell. Dumbbell works here too. I'm gonna hold this bell side up, bell like a lollipop. Okay. And then from here, I'm gonna bring it up and around my head. Right. 1, 5 per side. So I went, I guess, counterclockwise and then clockwise, right? When I'm doing this, it's a core exercise. Dumbbells, same idea here, right? Don't whack yourself in the head. We're avoiding, doing 5 per direction. And then we have squat rotations, which sounds like a lot. So if you can't do this from a full squat, right? Like, hip crease will parallel, right? The idea of like elbow or shoulder into the knee without something lifting, we can go higher up. Okay, so my hips could just be higher in the air. When you're ready, let's start this list. So 5 inchworms or 8 planks down dogs. The down dog can be a nice stretch, by the way. So I said 10%. I meant 5 per side, 10 total on the halos. My apologies. That was a typo. But you're more than welcome to do more than 5. So I took 5 per direction, 10 total. If you want to add more, add more. We're opening the hip on that halo too, so kind of the butt should remain squeezed. Yep. Yeah. For the squat rotations, you can alternate, or you can do stand on one side for 5.
Oh,
Yeah, so we're started spending time in that shape. The other time is getting a little bit of thoracic and spinal rotation, unless, of course, spinal rotation is not ideal. Good. For the kettlebell, Joseph, it can kind of come back to your solar plexus. So it's kind of like a big circle, kind of back. Yeah. Doesn't need to be like near your face the whole time. Although your bell is bigger than mine, so I guess that's fair. Do whatever you need to do, modify.
Kirstie, real quick on the squat rotations. Can you demo that real quick? I can't remember the shape. Thank
So you're
you.
gonna find a squat shape of some kind. So if it's not all the way down to the ground, carry it like, like down here down, that's okay. It could be higher up. And then, so it's whichever one you could tolerate, but I want your feet flat. And then if we're going to rotate, what I do is I think about it. So I'm in some sort of squat shape and I lean into, I'm gonna go with my right leg. So my elbow here is gonna be my lean. If I'm down here, it's more my shoulder because just the joint's closer to my knee. And I'm gonna just rotate. And you can alternate if you want. So I am leaning into that leg a little bit because I have to. But I'm just sort of holding a squat shape and then rotating a bit like that lunge we just did, but less deep, depending on your flexibility. Yeah, good. And your rotation per side can be different. I don't expect the same level of rotation per side. At least not for, I won't say for myself. I don't expect that for my athletes either. It's good to recognize though.
I love it when you try something the other way and you're like, nope, not easier that way either.
That's okay.
I know.
It's just, I think it's good to know though. And it's actually
Not
really
easier,
helpful.
but like, oh, which way does this feel more
Mm,
comfortable?
yeah, I get that.
Easy was just the whiny word. That's not what I meant. But yeah.
I know what you mean. It explains a lot of things, or it confirms a lot of things that I already know. I'm like, oh, that's why those things are hard for me. Yeah, and that rotation gets harder as your squat gets deeper. So that's okay if that rotation starts to feel a lot more challenging as your hips get lower. Totally normal. If I didn't say it already, we're doing this 3 times through. 3 sets total. This is this is a primer for the things we're doing later, so taking rest breaks here is fine. So Maurice, I still want that in a squat shape. So even if it's a little bent, but I don't want this to be like a forward fold shape. If it needs to be a little bit up here, that's okay. It's different to be up here than it is to be here. So rotating down here is not impossible. It's just awkward, as you might have found out. Right?
It's awkward.
Yes, that's okay.
Oh,
Good. Everyone's kind of in their third and final set in some way, shape, or form.
hi, Carrie. Carrie's waving at us all. Hello.
How did I get behind, guys? I'm sorry. Carry
Don't
on.
know.
Did.
No, you're not alone. You're good.
You're practicing for all the cheering you're going to do this year.
Oh.
Props are welcome, by the way.
I feel like I need to do wrist, wrist, wave, wave, or something.
I mean, you can warm your wrists. I do that with some clients who have some wrist limitations. Actually, circles are hard, apparently, which I say apparently. We start with up and down first, and then side to side. Circles are hard for people with wrist mobility issues.
All
So
right.
shrimp squats, I would say the star of the show today. So what we're going to start with actually is a reverse lunge step, first and foremost. This is going to be your starting point. So I know we do a lot of reverse lunges. The emphasis on these ones, however, are going to be slightly different. Traditionally, I have you step back as far as you want. Typically, there's a decent gap between your front knee and your back knee, right? There's a decent gap here, which is fine, by the way, and very evenly split, about 50-50, and I come back. For the shrimp squat, what we're going to try and do, or the lunge building to the shrimp squat, is bias the front leg a bit in the same way we do with a Bulgarian split squat or a loaded split squat, at least the way I teach it. The other thing, in addition to this, is bringing the back knee towards the angle of the heel. So instead of this nice distance, I'm going to be lunging so that I'm going to be bringing this, so this knee towards the, not like touching, but in line with my heel. See the gap or lack thereof? That's what we're going for. So what that does is this. It takes me from my shin angle from 90-ish degrees, right? Into, there's more flexion of the ankle, relatively speaking, and more quad. So now my emphasis is this leg, right? As opposed to back open 50-50. This should be like 90-ish%. So this is an option, by the way, today. This knee in line with, like parallel, not like back to back with that front heel. Okay, again, heel stays down. You can test this per side. This can be your first set if you feel inclined. Your knee will track forward. That's fine. As long as, again, you feel stable through the hip, the knee, and the ankle, we're good. Okay, that's the first progression, and you may stay there if that feels appropriate. The thing we did last week or 2 weeks ago was sort of the next step. And that is where, as we come down, the foot either is lightly touching or is off of the ground. We do the same shape. So here, my foot can't help drop because my hip's tight, but if I keep my foot off the ground, that would be ideal. But I can't do that with a hamstring cramp, so I'm not doing that today. But if you can, back foot stays off the ground. Whenever you're ready, that can count as round 1. If you prefer, you can try the harder variation and still count that as round 1 or 2, depending on how that felt. Good. So you're in line with, we're not behind, right? So even if I'm close, I'm not crossed over because that causes balance issues. But I'm in line with nice even line. And this makes it more quaddy, a lot more quad. Well, hamstring would do. And if you need to be near something or pad your knees extra, even you roll double up your yoga mat, totally get it. I know it's a lot of knee. Good.
Here's the thing with these, they feel hard, but doable on the first like round or two. It's the later rounds where you're like, oh,
Yeah.
you feel this later.
Yeah, this is the closest I've been able to mimic. I would say increased loading patterns in a home setting for most people. Because your first set of back squats they're fine. And then your fifth set of back squats are like, whoa, hey. And they kick in, but because you added weight. Here we're just adding fatigue.
The main tweak with this is that you're in line.
So yes,
And
but you're in line this
including-
way, you're not crossing
Not
over.
crossing, but like, yeah.
Yeah, so the gap, yeah,
control.
exactly. So the gap here goes from here to like there.
Yep.
Yeah. Or closer. How about that?
Yeah.
Right? If it's not knee to ankle or Achilles, we're closer. Because that ankle flexion, that amount of, and for me, pot kettle black, ankles and calves horrendously tight. Working on it, but I have trouble with one side more than the other, for sure. And if you're inclined to lift the back foot, that hamstring is going to kick on real fast, which is okay as long as it doesn't cramp, which it did almost when I tried the first time. So rightfully I stopped.
Spicy
Yeah.
shrimp.
And I want, spicy shrimps, which is
There's spicy shrimps where you eat them and you're like, little flavor. Then they get spicier as you go.
and then later on,
We're not talking about that.
you brought it up.
I just meant that the heat built in your mouth, but no, you had to go there.
I did not say anything.
It was implied. I know you.
The words didn't come out of my mouth. I am nothing but a professional. I don't know what you're talking about.
I need to focus.
Focus. And all joking aside, right? We have we're building fatigue. That's normal. That's intentional. They should get harder every set you do. Speaking of doing 4 sets, 5 per leg, I want you resting. That could be between legs and more specifically between physical sets. So right, left or left, right, rest, repeat, right? The rest can be a minute to a minute and a half, right? And it goes without saying, this shouldn't be painful in the way that like, ow, my knee hurts. Challenging, painful, fine. Um, I bend my knee and it hurts fine, not okay. Good. Anyone feeling brave enough to grab their back foot? I tried it and I thought probably not a good idea for me. Because no, thank you. Not today. Working on it, but not quite ready for that yet. Good.
One last little question.
Yes.
When the left, so my right foot forward, left knee's going down.
Yeah.
Knee should go like at the heel or like right before, like shouldn't go beyond where the heel is.
Yeah. Should stay slightly behind.
Yeah.
Like imagine if they were in line, which they're not, if they kind of tucked, they should be able to tuck behind one another, but they
Yeah.
don't. If that's the level of, and that's assuming your ankle can tolerate that amount of flexion, obviously. Um, but this is not a curtsy lunge, right? Which I know we've done those two where we slide across. This is very much still a forward and back um thing.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna feel this for 3 days.
So you are all adults. You can scale accordingly. So maybe you do 3 sets instead of 4. Maybe.
I thought we were doing 5, so when I got done 4 and I heard you say 4, I was like, what?
Yeah, 4. 4. Right? So depending on where I mean,
So
I
it
know
only
it's
hurt 2 days.
yeah, it's early in the season, relatively speaking. However, if you know you have some crazy big interval tomorrow, pre-fatigue in legs is not a bad thing. Just want to make sure the pre-fatigue isn't so much it's going to ruin your VO2 max FTP test, whatever your big thing is that week. Okay. And your coach is here. So, you know, she can help you with that. But make good choices and don't blame me for the choices that you make. Please, thank you. I can help in those, but let me know, all joking aside, if you have something coming up that week. So the next thing we have, right, is we have Copenhagen plank. So this is a side plank variation, right? We've done side planks before, side lying things. This one is all about your adductor. So adduction, that's when your knees come together, right? The thigh master, for anyone who remembers that one, it's that, except with no machine, okay? I said 20 seconds here. That can be a lot. So I want to fully open this up to 20 seconds or as long as you can hold it for. B stance RDLs, we already kind of know what that is, right? Feet are kind of split stanced, right? So instead of being even, they're a little ones kick back. My weight or weights are in hand. That hip goes behind, right? A little more glute and hamstring than the quad we just worked on. So we're doing the opposite, give the body a break. The knee flexion is also much less, so the knee should be pretty happy with that. And then bent over rows, I'll go over the Copenhagen plank, I won't leave that behind, is where we have a slight hinge. If I have 2 weights, assuming, right? A little bit of a deadlift shape, and then I'm going to go ahead and, right, kind of squeeze my shoulders together, elbows towards the hips, right? I'm not letting the shoulders roll forward, right? So your Copenhagen plank, the new one for most of us. I'm going to angle myself towards my couch here. A couch, dining set, bench, whatever you need to do here. Traditionally, we use a bench, but most of us don't have one of those. So I'm going to bend my knee. And yes, that is an avocado and a baguette, if you're wondering. And it has a face. Is this. I'm going to bend my knee and put this one on top, right? So I'm going to be in a side plank position. So I'm going to be ready to do a side plank, right? This time I'm going to rest my knee on my couch, right? So just have, I have an idea. You could strangle like whatever you want. Okay, but I like to bend the knee. This makes it easier. This makes it harder. If you have a bench, like Coach Meg, you can slide your leg under your bench. Obviously, I don't have that option. I'm gonna get into my side plank. My shoulder, you can't see it, is over my elbow. Okay, I know I'm wearing a big sweatshirt here. I'm going to go into my side plank, press down with my elbow, and simultaneously with this top knee, I'm gonna squeeze my bottom knee up. So I'm pushing down here, I'm pulling up here, and I'm pushing down here. Harder than it looks, I promise, right? It is all about this on the top leg, and maybe a little this guy on the bottom leg. 20 seconds is a long time, at least it is for me. So what I'll have us do is do the first piece together if you feel inclined. If you can do your own timing, do your own timing, okay? If you're ready, 3, 2, 1, and go. It's okay if you did your own timing. That's fine. Don't worry about it. You're okay. 20 seconds. Driving down with your top knee, squeezing your knees together, and holding that side plank position. Good. 3, 2, 1. That's one side. Little switcheroo. Yeah, if you want to continue moving, you're more welcome. Good. Switching sides. If you're following my clock, you do not need to. Starting in 3, 2, 1. So if you want to straighten your top leg, it makes it harder.
Oh wait, no, everybody else ready?
Yeah, if you're doing split stance, it's 8 per side. Don't worry about reaching for the floor. You're just kind of keeping the chest up and setting your hip behind you. That's better. Good. My plankers, you can rest. So your hip's not moving at all. Go ahead. You're going to stand up every time. Yep. And then hip moves back every time instead of moving the shoulder.
For some reason, I was thinking I had to lift the back leg, so I don't know
Nope.
what.
Back leg could stay down. I mean, we've done that too. So I think that your confusion is valid. Hip back. Beautiful. Yep. Just like that. Yeah. And as you come forward, stand up. So I want your knee to straighten. Yeah. Yeah. Good. If you tend to lock the joint, you can relax at the top, and the emphasis is on the front leg. So you're all doing a great job here with the RDLs, the Romanian deadlifts, the split stance ones. You do not need to reach for the floor, right? So it is okay if your weight, in fact, your shoulders, right, should remain even. So if I reach for the floor, I'm going to exaggerate here. If I reach my left hand towards the floor, my shoulder dips a lot, right? See how that's happening, right? Whereas if I go backwards just through my hip and I stay even, it's only about my knee, but that's just the size of my bell, right? I'm not rotating and dropping the chest. So my hips are moving behind. In this case, they're moving behind and they're coming forward. Behind, forward, right?
Thank
Or
you.
your back over rows. Yes, go ahead, Carrie.
No, just thank you. Good reminder. I'm guilty, but now I remember. So thank you.
No, it's this one is a challenge, especially when you have a weight that gets close to the floor, right? Kettlebells get close to the floor. Dumbbells are big enough to get close to the floor. It's really tempting to reach.
I was tempted.
This is completely understandable, and it's a very I like to think of this as a horizontal motion where my hips go back and forward versus up and down. Right. And if I think about it as horizontal motion, forward and backwards, my range of motion sets itself. But I understand the confusion. It's a hard one. Bent over rows, this can be done with 1 or 2 dumbbells or weights, and you're going to repeat this for 3 rounds. For the timing of the Copenhagen plank, if you're comfortable doing that for yourself or roughly counting to 20, that's totally fine. If you want me to do that for you guys, that's fine. It's just I want to make sure we're not confusing anybody. Okay. Are you waiting for the timer, Arisa? Is that a thumbs up for the timer? Okay, so Arisa's going for the timer. So if you're going to join Arisa, we're starting in 3, 2, 1, and go. Again, approximately 20 seconds. But I have a timer going, so you have to be a little more accurate if you're counting with us. It's 3, 2, 1. Let's go gently switch sides. It'll be a few seconds here, good 10 seconds to change direction. 3, 2, 1, and go again if you're joining on that timer. Three, 2, 1. Rest if you're doing planks or joining us for that timer. Good. Hips back. Yeah. Let's put it this way. For anyone struggling with this concept of the Romanian deadlift, which is totally valid, think a good morning, right? We do those for the warm up. And that's when hips, we're kind of hands behind head and hips move back, right? So hands behind head, hips move back. That is the same shape as your Romanian deadlift, just with 2 feet instead of 1. Good. With the row, it's kind of thing of pulling the shoulder back a little bit. So instead of the shoulder kind of being towards the chest and around it, and pulling the shoulder back. Okay, so long neck. Okay. Nice job. So the bent over row, whether you're doing one side or 2, and your Romanian deadlift are very similar in position. That's on purpose, right? Yeah. Should feel like a lot of butt and hamstring on that one, on both those. All you are doing great. If you want to make, you don't need to, and you want to make the Copenhagen plank harder, okay? You can extend the, at least for most of us, the top leg, if you have like a couch or a seat. If you feel inclined, you can also, if you have a bench, extend both legs and rest your ankle on it versus your knee, which makes, for the record, makes it significantly harder. So before you ask, it makes it much, much harder to have a long lever version where the ankle is on the ankle or lower leg. We can also just do a side plank hold, always. Okay, if we need to do a side plank hold. Good. Yeah, nice job, Meg. Squeeze that bottom knee to the top knee. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Nice. I know it's easier said than done. I'm genuinely.
I just wasn't in the proper position. There you go.
Yep.
Okay. I didn't reset, but you get the gist.
I do. And you're doing a great job. Those genuinely just they
No, they're hard, but they're good. We do those in PT.
the squeezies. Yeah, they're the inner thigh. Just as important as your kind of lateral, right? So outside leg muscles.
My oft ignored adductors.
You know what? I think most people do, and I include myself in that category.
I use them a lot, but I don't
Me
think
too.
about
Me too. But they are the first to fatigue in pretty much all squat variations. Um, so nice work, my friends. 3 sets total. Good, good. Nice job. Keeping the chest up. Good. And the height of your elbows, Joseph, is not important. So we're going to just cover a little bit of the lat engagement. You don't have to worry about how high they go on those rows. As long as you feel like the more shoulder blades together carry and a little less, like less trap. If you feel like it's all in the neck, drop your shoulders. Long neck is fine, but back versus up. Feel like you're doing a trap shrug and or your jaw's clenching and your neck gets really tense, probably going the wrong direction. You want it all down, right? Yeah, that's better. And that range of motion changes, that's fine. Get a little less. You might feel it more under the armpit next to your bra line. That's fine. That's a good thing. We can do trap shrugs if you want to get traps, but I feel like I don't think we need those as much. All right. We do enough of this all the time. We need to do this.
Yep.
Well, it's also, I mean, genuinely, all of these muscles, unless you're intentionally activating them, are all our kind of emotive anger responses. And we don't need more of that. Mechanically, we're better most of the time pulling with the lats, and then these guys kick in later. Okay. We have 8 minutes to spare to the hour. I wish you a good day if you need to run.